She had her vision board, the affirmations, the crystals, the late-night journaling sessions, each note a quiet plea to the universe, or perhaps to God, for a sign. She immersed herself in every book, absorbed every podcast, experimented with every technique, all in pursuit of one elusive state, alignment. And yet each morning she awoke with a gentle ache, a subtle tension, a quiet whisper beneath every ritual. Why is this not working? Why don't I feel it yet? Sound familiar? Perhaps not in every detail, but in essence, yes. Because we've all been subtly conditioned the same way. A spiritual trap often disguised as wisdom. Seek and you shall find. But what if the very act of seeking is the signal that keeps what you desire just beyond reach? What if the persistent search communicates to the quantum field or the divine orchestration of existence that it is not here yet? And in its perfect responsiveness, it mirrors that absence back. This is the hidden paradox within almost every manifestation method, the quiet assumption that we are separate from what we long for, that it lies somewhere out there, waiting for us to fetch it. Here lies the truth few will tell. The search itself builds the gap. It affirms the lack. And in a universe woven with divine intelligence, what we affirm, we experience. This is not about offering a new method to chase your dream life. It's about helping you remember that what you seek is already aware of you, already reflecting toward you. There exists a shift more potent than any ritual, a stance more magnetic than any affirmation. That shift is simple yet profound. Stop searching. Become the observer. Pause and let that sink in. There is a reason why, when you finally cease striving, life begins to unfold. When you surrender, you receive. When you stop chasing, the desired outcome often arrives in ways you never anticipated. This is not luck nor divine delay. It is resonance. The moment you stop searching, you exit the vibration of absence. You become still, present, aware. In that state of observation, the quantum field and the divine intelligence behind it begins to respond. The shift may be subtle, but it is radical. You move from the identity of the seeker, the one who feels incomplete, into the identity of the observer, the one who already perceives and trusts. This inner alignment is what transforms potential into reality. But let's be honest, most people do not live this way. From our earliest moments, we are conditioned to chase, to achieve, to hustle. We are taught to look externally for love, success, peace, even spiritual fulfillment becomes another goal to pursue. We meditate to find calm, journal to attract abundance, visualize to manifest the future. Yet beneath every effort lies a quiet assumption: I'm not there yet. This is the message your seeking transmits to the field. Now consider this. What if the truth is not that you must find anything, but that you must observe differently? In the quantum realm, or the divine orchestration of existence, attention is everything. It is not passive, it is creative. Science shows that the act of observation influences the behavior of particles. This is not mysticism, it is physics. Your consciousness does not merely witness reality, it selects it. When you stop seeking and start observing, not with anxiety, but with presence, you access the true power behind transformation, awareness without attachment. This is the sacred posture of the observer. The observer does not grasp, does not push, does not force. The observer allows the potential to collapse naturally into form. Imagine it this way. If seeking is a clenched fist, observing is an open hand. Into which hand do you think the universe or divine intelligence places gifts? You do not attract through effort alone. You attract through coherence, through alignment between your inner state and the version of reality you choose to perceive. Perception begins with presence, stillness, and stepping back rather than pursuing relentlessly. This is not passivity. It is mastery. Observing without urgency, without grasping, without doubt, requires strength, trust, and a redefinition of self. The seeker is always becoming. The observer already is. Here is the invitation. For the next few minutes, allow yourself to stop. Not just physically, but vibrationally. Release the compulsion to get somewhere. Drop the story that your ideal life is out there and consider that it may already be present, veiled only by a layer of misperception. In the following segments, we will explore the science behind this phenomenon, how observation literally shapes reality, and how relentless searching pushes desires deeper into probability while mindful observation draws them into manifestation. But for now, pause. Let this truth resonate. What you seek is seeking you, and it is aware of you now. To understand the power of becoming the observer, we must enter a domain few consciously perceive. Not because it is hidden, but because it is subtle, foundational, and often overlooked. The quantum field, the invisible lattice of potential within creation. Every possibility exists until attention, your conscious observation, chooses to focus. This is not philosophy, it is physics. In the early 20th century, scientists discovered a truth that transformed our understanding of reality. At the subatomic level, particles do not act like tiny billiard balls. They behave like waves of probability, existing not in one place but in many simultaneously. A particle, such as an electron, holds no fixed position. It exists as potential, here, there, or nowhere, until the extraordinary moment it is observed. This observation collapses possibility into actuality. And just as in the physical realm in life, when you align your awareness with the stillness within, the divine intelligence of the universe responds. Your inner presence shapes the outer world. And if you are watching closely, if you are fully present, you will notice how synchronicities, clarity, and opportunities begin to manifest. So, as you engage with this journey, remember, Quantum Aligned invites you to experience life not as a relentless seeker, but as a conscious observer. Like and subscribe if this resonates, and allow yourself to witness the miraculous intelligence guiding reality, already attuned to your presence. Here begins the subtle, beautiful transformation from chasing to receiving, from searching to knowing. In the moment that observation takes place, the wave transforms into a particle. It becomes tangible, localized, and real. This phenomenon is known as the observer effect, and it unveils something both profound and deeply empowering. The simple act of looking determines what manifests as reality. Let that resonate. Before observation, infinite potential exists. With observation, one reality emerges, chosen by your conscious attention. Physicist Werner Heisenberg, a pioneer of quantum mechanics, expressed it succinctly. What we observe is not reality itself, but reality filtered through our way of questioning. In other words, reality is not merely waiting to be uncovered. It is actively shaped by how we engage with it and by who we are in the moment of observation. Now, consider this beyond a laboratory and into the rhythm of your own life. If the universe is composed of quantum particles and those particles respond to awareness, then your consciousness is not a passive witness. It is a creative force. Each time you observe with intention, focus, and expectation, you are participating in the construction of the reality you experience. This is why the role of the observer carries sacred significance. Yet here is what is often overlooked. The quality of your observation matters immensely. Are you observing from a place of lack, doubt, or neediness? Then your attention collapses a version of reality that mirrors that energy. Observation is never neutral. You do not merely witness. You observe from a state of being, and the universe, God's design of creation, responds accordingly. This is why relentless searching often backfires. When you are searching, you are observing from absence. You seek something you perceive as missing, and your observation shapes a reality in which it remains absent, not as punishment, but because your focus is filtered through the identity of lack. That identity broadcast, I do not yet have it. That vibration is what the field aligns with. Here, modern physics and timeless wisdom converge. As John Wheeler, a quantum physicist who collaborated closely with Einstein, noted, no phenomenon is real until it is observed. And mystics have long described reality as illusion, shaped by the perceiver's consciousness. Your inner state, your vibrational, emotional, and neurological frequency determines what your observation selects. Imagine your awareness as a quantum camera. Wherever you point it, you capture not an objective world, but a reflection of your inner settings. Your beliefs, assumptions, and identity form the lens that focuses reality. Here lies the transformation. If you wish to change what manifests, do not chase the outcome. Instead, evolve the observer. When you transform internally, your observation shifts. And when your observation shifts, the wave collapses into a new reality, one that has been present all along, waiting for you to choose it. Power is not in searching harder. It is in observing differently. In the next chapter, Quantum Aligned will explore why habitual seeking locks many into scarcity and how our brain, wired for survival, often filters out abundance present right before us. But for now, reflect. You are not separate from what you seek. You are intrinsically connected. It does not wait for pursuit. It waits for your conscious observation. The process begins innocently, a desire to transform, a pull towards something greater, a yearning for more love, purpose, and alignment. So you begin searching tools, words, energy. You set intentions. You visualize. You affirm. Yet quietly, tension, doubt, and fatigue appear, as if you are always just behind your goal. You wonder why it is not working. The answer is not in the tools, but in the frequency you carry while using them. Most do not realize that searching, particularly when driven by anxiety or fear, conveys a distinct signal. I do not have what I want. I am not where I need to be. That vibration becomes the instruction. The identity of the one who lacks, the one who chases, is what the field mirrors. The quantum field responds not to words, but to states, emotional, energetic, and neurological. When spiritual practices are engaged from a state of deficiency, they often deepen the sense of lack, not because the practices are flawed, but because they are powered by scarcity. This is the frequency trap, the loop of effort without elevation. Neuroscience explains why. The brain prioritizes safety over expansion, scanning for danger, fixating on absence, and reinforcing survival patterns. Past experiences of lack, trauma, or rejection encode in the nervous system as truth. Even when affirming, I am abundant, the body may protest, no, you are not. This internal contradiction produces incoherence, which blocks the signal. The universe does not respond to words alone. It resonates with your energetic field. If your field is divided, mind says yes, body says no, the wave cannot collapse into manifestation. Quantum Aligned invites you to observe this delicate interplay. Awareness is not passive. It is sacred, divinely guided, and co-creative. When your attention aligns with stillness and presence, the inherent intelligence of the universe responds. Your inner harmony collapses infinite potential into chosen reality. This is the sacred gift of observation, the ability to allow, witness, and let the divine orchestration of life unfold naturally. And so, the journey continues, shifting from frantic seeking to conscious observation, from absence to alignment, from separation to connection. By refining the observer within, you awaken to the reality that has always been awaiting your conscious acknowledgement. Remember to like and subscribe to Quantum Aligned as we explore this path further, and notice how subtle presence begins to transform the invisible fabric of your experience. The potential doesn't become real because there's no clear observer, no consistent frequency, just static. This is where spirituality meets embodiment. You're not here to think your way into a new reality. You're here to become the vibrational match for it. And that means moving out of the identity of the seeker and into the identity of the observer. But to do that, you have to let go of the chase. This doesn't mean you stop growing or that you become passive. It means you stop assuming that what you desire is outside of you. Because as long as you place your goal in the future, you disconnect from the power of the now. And the now is the only place the quantum field responds to. This is why people say let go to receive. Because letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the frequency of separation. It means no longer identifying as the one who lacks, but as the one who already is. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Faith knows it is already received and acts accordingly." That's the observer's posture. Faith not as hope, but as alignment. Not as waiting, but as claiming. You don't affirm because you lack. You affirm because it's true now, and your field is catching up. From a spiritual perspective, this is radical self-trust. It means trusting that the version of you who has it all already exists. It means understanding that your job is not to chase that version, but to collapse into it through coherence. And coherence begins when you stop trying to get there and start feeling from there. So here's the energetic pattern we need to interrupt. I want something, so I must look for it. My looking is proof I don't have it. Then I vibrate lack while calling in abundance. The way out of this loop is presence. It's the quiet decision to stop identifying as the one who searches and to start embodying the one who sees. Because the observer doesn't look for something. The observer looks from something, from wholeness, from peace, from trust. The observer knows that what is needed will appear not through effort but through resonance. That life isn't something to conquer, but something to attune to. And that attunement begins by changing your state, not your surroundings. In the next chapter, we'll give you the tools to make that shift. You'll learn how to step into the observer identity with clarity, how to rewire your field to rest in presence, and how to let go of the habit of lack, not by force, but by frequency. But first, let this truth land. The more you search, the more you affirm separation. The more you observe, the more you collapse the timeline where it's already true. The difference isn't in the effort, it's in the frequency. There's a moment in every inner journey when you realize your greatest power isn't in changing your circumstances. It's in changing how you relate to them. You stop reacting. You stop chasing. You stop trying to fix what was never broken. And in that space of stillness, something emerges, a deeper presence, a silent intelligence, a version of you that sees without needing to grasp. That version is not a fantasy. It's not something you become someday. It's available right now. And as soon as you choose to embody the observer identity. So what is the observer? It's the part of you that exists before the story, before the doubt, before the craving. It's not reactive because it doesn't identify with the temporary. It sees thought but is not thought. It feels emotion but is not ruled by it. It witnesses change but remains unchanged. And in that posture of calm awareness, something miraculous happens. The quantum field begins to organize itself around you. Because when you become still, the universe moves. To embody the observer is not to become passive or detached from life. It is to return to your original position. The one who selects timelines not through striving, but through state. This is where your true magnetic power lives. Not in how much you do, but in who you are being while you do it. Let's ground this. If you've been stuck in the loop of searching, of trying to manifest through effort, fear, or desperation, it's not your fault. It's conditioning. Everything around you has trained you to look outside for answers. From childhood, we're taught that satisfaction lives in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next version of success. So even when we wake up spiritually, we often carry the same survival pattern into our practices, chasing a better self, a higher vibration, a future we hope will finally feel like enough. But what if it's already enough? What if the goal was never to get there, but to see from here? This is the core of the observer identity. You stop asking when will it come, and you start asking from wherein. Me, does this arise? You're no longer performing for the field. You're resting in alignment and letting the field match your clarity. So, how do you step into that state? It begins with presence, with breaking the spell of lack through stillness, with no longer defining yourself by what is missing, but by what is already alive in you. Now, this is not imagination. It's attunement. When you shift from doing to being, you activate the part of you that the quantum field recognizes instantly, the coherent observer. Let's anchor this with a short, powerful practice. You don't need music, incense, or the perfect meditation cushion. You just need yourself and the willingness to stop looking and start seeing. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Let your body relax naturally. Place your awareness just behind your eyes, the seat of the silent observer. Not the thinker, not the doer, just the one who sees. Begin to notice the space between your thoughts. Do not chase silence. Simply become aware of awareness itself. Feel into the truth. Nothing is missing. You are here. You are whole. You are not waiting for anything. You are witnessing everything. Now repeat silently, I choose to observe from wholeness. Let that frequency settle. Do not try to force a feeling. Simply be the one who sees without needing. Open your eyes slowly and remain in that presence. When you begin living from that place, not occasionally but consistently, the outer world softens. The noise of urgency fades. Pressure dissolves. What remains is clarity, not because the external world changed, but because the observer has returned to the throne. You are no longer chasing the future. Instead, you collapse it into the now through the stillness of your being. That is why this moment matters. This is not merely a video. It is a shift, a line in the sand between who you were and who you are choosing to become. That choice begins here with a declaration. Comment below, I choose to observe from wholeness. Let it be a signal to the field and to yourself that you no longer vibrate from lack. You have remembered your true essence. From that place, nothing is missing. Nothing is waiting. Everything unfolds naturally. In the next chapter, Quantum Aligned will explore the energetic consequences of this identity. You will discover how the observer not only witnesses reality, but reshapes it. We will examine the magnetic calm that draws synchronicity, clarity, and flow, and why non-reactivity is the most potent creative stance in the universe. For now, remain here, because the observer is already home. There is a power that does not shout. It does not chase. It does not rush to prove, grasp, or control. It simply is calm, certain, quietly radiant. And yet this stillness draws more transformation, synchronicity, and fulfillment than 1,000 hours of effort ever could. This is the power of the observer, the energetic signature of someone who no longer asks, when will it come? They are too busy embodying the version of themselves who already has it. True magnetism is coherence, not charisma, extroversion, or high energy. It is when your thoughts, emotions, and identity are no longer in conflict. Your field emits a harmonious signal into the quantum and divine orchestration. This is who I am. This is what I hold. This is what I am available for. The universe, precise and impartial, responds accordingly. You do not pull things toward you through desire. You attract them through clarity. When you stop needing it to happen, it happens, not because you gave up, but because you are aligned. You release the noise. You stopped sending mixed signals. In that quiet clarity, space opens for manifestation. Think of your vibration like music. When you are anxious, needy, or overthinking, the melody becomes distorted, the rhythm off. The universe cannot harmonize with that. But when you enter the stillness of the observer, the music smooths. It becomes resonant, beautiful, easy to echo, and reality begins to dance with you. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. What you desire already exists, not in the future, but in the field. Your role is not to chase it, but to tune to it. When your energy matches, manifestation is inevitable. It is not about effort, but frequency fidelity. Hold the signal long enough, and reality aligns. Joe Dispenza calls this living as if. You do not wait for the outcome to feel gratitude, peace, or confidence. You generate those states now, for they are not emotions but codes, passwords that unlock access to specific timelines. Timelines respond not to desire, but to who you are being. Connect the dots. When you sit in the observer identity, no longer reacting but responding with presence, your nervous system calms, your electromagnetic field stabilizes. Your brain and heart enter coherence. You are no longer a scattered signal. You become a beacon, and the field listens. You notice something extraordinary. People shift around you. Conversations change. Ideas land. Opportunities arrive without effort. You stop proving, and others sense your authority. You stop searching, and life reveals itself, not because you improved, but because you became clearer. Your presence becomes the invitation. Your calm becomes the portal. The things you once tried to force now arrive with ease, not as rewards, but as reflections of who you have become. This is the opposite of striving. It is spiritual gravity. It cannot be faked. You cannot pretend calm while vibrating desperation. The field perceives the truth. That is why embodiment matters. Once the observer identity becomes normal, not only in your mind but in your body, the timeline aligns itself. The question is no longer how to get what you want. The question becomes, can I remain coherent long enough to let it arrive? Can I sustain the frequency of already? Can I hold peace even as reality catches up? Can I remain the observer when old stories try to ensnare me? If you can, you have won. Not because you forced anything, but because you remembered. The field does not respond to force. It responds to certainty. And certainty does not come from knowing the outcome. It comes from knowing yourself. You are no longer here to convince the universe. You are here to match it. In the next and final chapter, Quantum Aligned invites you to remember what has always been true. You are not the seeker. You are the answer. You are the observer who collapses possibility into form, not by chasing what is missing, but by seeing from wholeness. When you stop searching, you remember that you were the signal all along. Every seeker reaches a point when questions begin to dissolve, not because all answers appear, but because the need to ask fades. The chasing softens. The proving quiets. The striving evaporates like morning mist under sunlight. What remains is presence, a quiet, steady awareness that whispers, "It was always you." That moment is now. If you have followed this journey, not just with your ears, but with your heart, you have already felt it. The shift, the truth, is that your power never resided in technique, in hustle, in doing more. It has always resided in who you are when you finally stop trying to become something else. You were never missing anything. You were never broken. You were never waiting. You have always been the observer, not the one frantically painting life with borrowed brushes, but the one who watches, selects, and chooses. You understand that reality does not change because you chase it. It changes because you collapse into a new identity. And from that identity, the world reshapes itself around your vibration. Consider this clearly. The version of you at peace already exists. The version of you in love with life already exists. The version of you living with purpose, abundance, and clarity already exists. They are not distant. They are not future. They are not fantasy. They are frequency. When you stop searching, when you rest in the truth of I am, you begin to match that frequency, not by striving to be better, but by relaxing into what is already here. You do not need more to become more. You need less noise, less resistance, less searching. The field responds not to what you desire, but to what you recognize yourself to be. The observer knows, I do not need to become. I already am. This is the end of the chase and the beginning of real power. That is why this work does not conclude here. This is not just content to consume. It is a new blueprint to embody, a new lens through which to see everything you once thought was outside of you. If you are ready to go deeper, not only in theory but in your daily vibration, Quantum Aligned has created a guide for you, a portal, a quantum invitation. Take a breath. Look around. Let go of the search. Watch what begins to arrive, not because you needed it, but because you finally aligned with it. This is the frequency we inhabit now. This is the community we are building. If this message resonates with your soul, you know what to do. Subscribe to amplify your frequency with us, drop a comment, share your shift, speak your truth into the field. This is not just a video, it is a new timeline. And you calm, clear, and complete are ready for it.